Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we have a lot of news to go over for Overwatch League. A lot of things came out today regarding scheduling and things like that, and how things will work for the end of the year, all that stuff. So we're going to break it down for you guys, starting with the fact that this is actually for the game itself, that you can get now away skins in Overwatch if you have purchased skins, which is really cool. So if you purchased the skin previously, if you got the home skin, you will now have the away white color skin as well. And if you bought the Twitch All Access Pass, you get the home skin from the away one. But whenever you buy a skin from now on in Overwatch, for Overwatch League, you will get both the home and away skin. That's something I thought, and Lamine thought when we talked about it. We both said that should be something that should have been in the game since the beginning. We both were thinking that should be a thing back months ago, and it's cool that it came out yesterday with the winter event in Overwatch. Now, back to Overwatch League, though, which obviously we know starts on a Thursday, February 14th, and today they revealed the whole schedule, which also included updating the app to contain all of the expansion teams. So if you guys are a fan of the expansion teams and have the app, you can select that as your favorite team now, and you also can see the schedule from now all the way to the end of the season. So everything's really been updated for 2019 today. So obviously we knew last week what the matchups were going to be for the first week, and we don't have to go over that. But the thing we talked about was there were what would be home games or away games, whatever they called it. And there are 3 of those games. So, everyone says new this season, 3 Overwatch League teams, the first to host games in their home cities. 3 teams are Dallas Fuel, Atlanta Reign, and Los Angeles Valiant. I think it's kind of interesting that they picked to do all in America, considering the Overwatch League has only been played in America. So it's sort of weird. I would have thought they would have done something maybe in Europe, or maybe Korea or China, but they did not. They're doing ones in America. The one here, the Dallas Fuel, is the first one to host a team. So they will be in Dallas. And the teams will be there. The Hunters, Spark, Outlaws, Spitfire, Eternal, Valiant, and Dynasty will all be playing there. That will be April 27th and 28th. Then the Atlanta Reign will host it in Atlanta, obviously. Mayhem, Charge, Excelsior, Fusion, Dragons, Defiant, and Justice will be playing there, along with obviously the Reign. And then the final one, which I think is weird, is the Los Angeles Valiant are hosting a game, which I get is a different location, and it's the location that the Valiant have picked to be their home location once the league splits to actual cities, where all 20 teams will play in their home cities, the home and away games. But I think that it's weird that they picked LA, considering they wanted it to be as a test to see other cities hosting games and see how it would work for the teams, to have the Valiant host it, give fans a chance to see from other places. It's kind of weird considering Overwatch League has been hosted in Los Angeles, and so was a stage in the Overwatch World Cup and BlizzCon. It's all been in Los Angeles, so there's been so much Overwatch competitively happening in Los Angeles. It would have been interesting to see a different city besides LA get to host it. But they picked LA, and the teams that will be playing at the location that the Valiant have picked will be the Reign, Uprising, Fuel, Spark, Gladiators, Excelsior, Titans, Shock, and Dragons. So that will be August 24th and 25th, which means that the Overwatch League will be going way longer this season, which I'm not a fan of. And I'll break that down in a minute for you guys. So, obviously, as we know, this is just a refresher on things that already got announced. The Atlanta Reign, Paris Eternal, Toronto Defiant, Washington Justice are all Atlanta Division. Chengdu Hunters, Guangzhou Charge, Hangzhou Spark, and Vancouver Titans are all part of the Pacific Division, which we knew. There's 28 games instead of 40. All-Star Game and other events will be between Stage 2 and 3. Stage finals will be held after Stage 1, 2, and 3, and 8 teams will qualify, including the 2 division leaders at that point in the season. Postseason, obviously, is 2 division winners, and the next best 4 teams, and then 2 teams to additionally qualify with a play-in tournament from teams 7th to 12th in standings. So, we can't go over the prize pool money that will be awarded. Prize pool for 2019 season is $5 million, up from $3.5 million in 2018. Stage playoff prize pool for stage 1, 2, and 3, because there is no stage 4 playoffs this time. The winner of the stage playoffs gets $200,000. Second place gets $100,000. Third and fourth get $50,000 each, and 5th through 8th get $25,000 each. That's why the prize pool is bigger, because there's more teams in it. Season playoffs, the champion gets $1.1 million, which is $100,000 more than last year. Runner-up gets $600,000. Third gets $450,000. Fourth is $350,000. Fifth and sixth is $300,000, and 7th and 8th get $200,000. And they also have the map pool for stage 1, which is expanded. Apparently, there's 12 maps instead of however many there were before. I guess wasn't there 8? I guess there might have been 8. All right, we got more things to go over, and we will go over the schedule as well. I also do want to note, for the video, for the thumbnail for this video, we're testing out the picture that came with this article as a test thumbnail for power rankings for next year. So I just want to test it out now. I found the picture. It's the one I wanted. Just like last year, we had all 12 teams. This year's got all 20 teams with the Overwatch League logo. All right, so the map pool for the first stage. We'll go over each map, and also if I think they're good maps for Overwatch League to be played on. First, we have control maps. We have Busan, Ilios, and Nepal. Control maps are always interesting to watch in the Overwatch League. They're the only maps that you can not get a tie on, so obviously they end up being the tiebreaker in the end as well. But control maps are very interesting. Ilios and Nepal, obviously we know how they play in Overwatch League. They're both good. I think Ilios is the best one to probably watch in Overwatch League. Ilios is always interesting, especially the one with the well and the hole in the middle, the well point thing. That's interesting. Busan, obviously we don't know how that works in Overwatch League. It was played in Overwatch World Cup, but Busan's a very interesting map to play from my experience. One of my more favorite maps, obviously, because it's the Korean map, so I would like it in a certain sense. But the certain points are different. The one that's like the little building point. Well, there's one in the city. That one's interesting. There's a lot of things on the way there. There's a lot of places you might have big sniper battles. The one that's like the old style stuff. That one's interesting just because the point's so small and it's around. There's like a little building over it, and then a big drum bell thingy in the middle. So it makes that point really, really small. And then the mech base, that one's just, it's so spread out, but the point is really weird because it's a big high ground, and then things pop up out of the ground. So Busan will be a very interesting map to see in the Overwatch League. Obviously, it wasn't the Overwatch World Cup, but Overwatch League is a little different. Then we got Hybrid. And this is just map pool for stage 1. Well, they didn't announce all the stages. Hybrid, we see Hollywood, Kings Row, and Nambani. I don't really like hybrid maps, if I'm honest. So I don't really think any of them are good to watch. Kings Row is not actually bad to watch in Overwatch League, even though it's terrible to play. Nambani, I don't really like Nambani at all. So hybrid maps I don't like to watch or play. But if I had to pick one that I'm most interested to watch, it would be Kings Row. Assault maps, we see Temple of Anubis, Horizon Lunar Colony, and Volskaya Industries. Temple of Anubis is really weird because that first point is really like easy to take over, but the second one's really hard, so that makes that go for a long time. You can see some big fights at point B. Horizon Lunar Colony. It's the first time since the changes to Horizon Lunar Colony will be played in the Overwatch League. I believe those changes came later in the year, or they just weren't out when the league was playing. So it'll be interesting to see how some of those changes do affect the Overwatch League at Horizon, with the point being a little bit easier to access on the first point, changing things up with the way things work on point B as well, with that second platform off to the back, and the way the spawn works, having to go around and now instead of straight out, makes it a little bit different. Volskaya Industries. That's up there as one of my favorite maps to play, along with Lamim. We're both really good at that map, so whenever I watch Volskaya be played in this, it's always cool to see. But Volskaya, again, is an interesting map because that first point, if you take it quickly, you can definitely just like rush that second point. But if you don't make that first push on point B, it's really, really hard to take. Along with the similar situation you see with Temple of Anubis, and honestly Horizon, their spawns are really close, but I don't know, I feel like Volskaya is a little bit harder just because I feel like you have to go so far. And it's just so hard to get to the first choke, where the other points, it's a little bit easier. But I feel like Temple of Anubis probably is the hardest to take point B, but Volskaya, your time can go down pretty quickly there as well. Escort, we see Rialto for the first time in the Overwatch League. Again, this map was played in the Overwatch World Cup, but it was not played in the Overwatch League yet. We'll see how that works. Rialto's a weird map. You can definitely tell it was made for a game mode. The way the checkpoints are, there's really nothing saying, like, this is a checkpoint except for a metal thing on the ground. But we'll see how Rialto works out in the Overwatch League. I think the interesting point, B is hard to get all the way through. You end up spawning so far away. If you get knocked off the point, it's really hard to get back to B. So we'll see how that works. Dorado. We obviously seen Dorado, and I think that's a pretty bad map in general. I don't really like Dorado. Route 66 is interesting to watch in Overwatch League. That last point on Route 66 is hard to take as an attacker as well. If you don't push the payload to the end, and you get taken off right there, it's really hard to get back because the other team's spawns are so close. Then for Tiebreaker, it's one of the two control maps that's never been played. So again, Tiebreaker map is either going to be Busan, Ilios, or Nepal, which again brings up the fact that Busan is a map that's not been played in the Overwatch League yet, and it'll be very interesting to see how that is played. So we'll see how that works. Ultimately, remember, each team plays 4 maps. If they're tied at the end, one of the 3 control maps will be played. So again, for control, Busan, Ilios, and Nepal. Hybrid, Hollywood, Kings Row, and Nabani. Assault, Temple of Anubis, Horizon Lunar Colony, Volskaya Industries. Escort is Rialto, Dorado, and Route 66. And the Tiebreaker is one of the 2 control maps that have been played in the series, which again is Busan, Ilios, or Nepal. If you guys are going to Overwatch League, you can go to events at Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. They're having team signings. Each team will do one during the season for a post-team match. Any fan who's there will be able to get signatures from players, and apparently if you buy tickets, it will be in that it says here. Season Pass. Fans who don't want to miss a single day of Overwatch League can purchase the Season Pass and receive special privileges, including a dedicated entrance with early access to Blizzard Arena 10 minutes before the doors open, first opportunity to pick seats each day, tickets to the All-Star event, all 3 stage finals, and a backstage tour. You also get a Soldier 76 statue signed by your favorite team, priority to all team signings, and early access to purchase grand finals tickets. So, that's for people who are in Los Angeles and want to watch every single game. It's an interesting opportunity. You get to go there. I think it's pretty cool. You get a special entrance, because I believe everybody's entrance at the same time, and you can just pick a seat. I don't think it's really like, you don't have assigned seats on your ticket, so you just get there, and wherever you sit, you sit. So if you get all access, or not all access, it's early access. So you can get in 10 minutes early. There's a special entrance where you can pick your seat. Or it says you get to enter early, and then you get to first opportunity to pick your seat. You also get to go to the All-Star event, all 3 stage finals, and again, to get to see backstage is pretty cool. You can see how everything works. Soldier 76 statues, which is signed by your favorite team, so I guess you can say, this is my favorite team. Which is cool. Even if you don't like Soldier 76, those statues are really nice. The ones that are like handmade. I believe they're all pretty expensive as well. I think every character is $150, except for the D.Va one, which is $400 something. That's why I don't have it. And you get priority to all team signings, so I guess you could be up there first. And then you can buy grand finals tickets early. You can also have other packages where you can pick 6 games you want to go to. So you can say you like Soul Dynasty, like I have Soul Dynasty here. So say you're like, I want to watch Soul Dynasty play 6 times. That's the pick 6. So that's where you catch the ball from the opposing team and run it in for a touchdown yourself. All right, so the pick 6, fans can customize a 6-game package featuring their favorite team. Pick 6 package automatically includes the team signing date of their favorite team. So it's pretty cool. You get to pick whatever one you want to go to. So if your favorite team is Soul Dynasty, you basically get to pick 5 other games and automatically get the day of the Soul Dynasty signing, or whatever team you like. Just Soul Dynasty is my example team in most circumstances. Then there's Friends and Family Fridays on 8 Fridays throughout the 2019 season. We're offering the Friends and Family package for just $88. This group ticket includes 4 tickets, 4 drinks, 2 orders of nachos. Supplies of Friends and Family packages are limited. So I don't know how expensive tickets are. I know last year they were $20 and $30. So I'm assuming they're around the same price. They're also doing Pride Day, which I know they did last year. They gave out like little wristbands and things like that. It says in conjunction with LA Pride 2019, the Overwatch League will celebrate our LGBTQ fan base. So that continues with what they did last year. I don't remember when it was. I just know what happened. There will also be Overwatch League will be shown on TV. It'll be on ESPN, Disney, ABC, Family of Networks, obviously. Most of them will be on Disney XD, but occasionally you might see something on ESPN. So the first week matchups, Hangzhou Spark and Shanghai Dragons at 8:30 Pacific Time is on Disney XD. And then February 17th, 12 p.m. Pacific Time, Houston Outlaws and Boston Uprising on Disney XD. And 1:30 Pacific Time, Philadelphia Fusion and Atlanta Reign, that is also February 17th, will be on Disney XD. And of course, it says all matches will be available and on demand at OverwatchLeague.com, Overwatch League app, Twitch, MLG.com, and MLG app. So everywhere you can watch it last year, you can watch it now. So I think that's a lot of stuff, but we actually haven't gotten to the schedule yet. So we click this thing, and it will bring us to the schedule. I want to see if we click here, teams. Is it going to show every team yet? Ooh, it does. Wow. Everything officially got updated today, basically. We're not going to go over every single match, but we are going to break down when everything ends, basically. The nice thing is that Overwatch League, everything now, with on app, on the website, everything is set to your time. That was the issue, I know, last year. So wherever you are in the world, you can go on the Overwatch League website, and it will tell you what time the games are in your time. And the Overwatch League app as well. The only thing that will be the pictures that they either put on Twitter or things they have on the website that are pictures. If it's just the actual app or the schedule itself, it will say in your time, no matter where you are in the world, Europe. I know I'll get a lot of comments, or not a lot of comments, but I know I see a lot of comments, and I got a comment before saying, what time is it here? You can go on the thing, you can see yourself. Or if you're in Korea and you want to see your team play, you can go on here. Or anywhere in America, anywhere that you want in the world, it'll be in your time. So, that's very helpful for me to know when I'm doing these videos. So I will say the times, Eastern time, when I watch, or when I say this part, but yeah. Alright, so you obviously know the first week games. We'll go over the first stage. Alright, so February 21st, Washington Justice and London Spitfire, Philadelphia Fusion, Florida Mayhem, Guangzhou Charge, and Dallas Fuel, Soul Dynasty, and Tradio Hunters play on that day. 22nd, we got Atlanta Reign and Toronto Defiant, New York Excelsior and Los Angeles Valiant, Shanghai Dragons and Boston Uprising, and Houston Outlaws and Hangzhou Spark. Then, on the 23rd, Los Angeles Gladiators and Paris Eternal, Philadelphia Fusion and Dallas Fuel, Vancouver Titans and Guangzhou Charge, and Tradio Hunters and Florida Mayhem. So let's let the weekend games end early, which then we can talk about in a second. February 24th, Hangzhou Spark and London Spitfire. New York Excelsior and Houston Outlaws, Toronto Defiant and Los Angeles Valiant, and Vancouver Titans and San Francisco Shock. So, we'll go from my standpoint of time here. Every game is at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to start, and 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time is the last game. So, that's the way things will be. They're a little bit later in the day. From that perspective, they start a lot later. They used to start at like 5, so now they start at 7 here. And then 3 p.m. on Saturday they start, and 7:30 is the last game, all Eastern Time, obviously. But things are a little bit different, a little bit later. They want things to accommodate the viewers other places in the world a little bit easier. So I guess that works. My one thing that I've noticed so far is that if your team plays early in the week, there's a lot of games before your team plays again. I've noticed from this week, which is the second week, Soul Dynasty plays February 21st, and then they don't play the rest of the week. I noticed it's sort of like a thing. I do like that better about last season. I will say I liked being able to watch our team twice a week, and I don't know. I guess things they have to change a little bit, but I liked when there was 40 games and then you had to. It was that way. I just feel like the whole player burnout thing is just kind of annoying and a lame excuse. All right, so we'll get into that at the end of the video, though. All right, the nice one for Stage 1, Week 3. February 28th, Washington Justice and Philadelphia Fusion. Seoul Dynasty and Boston Uprising. Florida Mayhem and Guangzhou Charge. San Francisco Shock and Hangzhou Spark. March 1st, Los Angeles Gladiators and London Spitfire. Toronto Defiant and New York Excelsior. Vancouver Titans and Los Angeles Valiant. Shanghai Dragons and Chengdu Hunters. Friday, March 2nd, Paris Eternal and Atlanta Reign. Florida Mayhem and Houston Outlaws. San Francisco Shock, Washington Justice. Shanghai Dragons, and Dallas Fuel. Then we have March 3rd, Boston Uprising, Toronto Defiant, Hangzhou Spark, and Los Angeles Gladiators, Los Angeles Valiant, and Guangzhou Charge, and New York Excelsior, and Seoul Dynasty. That's going to be a good game. Looking forward to that one. Final game of that week. All right, now we get into Week 4, and they actually have games start even later. This one here starts at 8:30 to 11:30, but there's only 3 games that day. There's only 3 games the next day as well. All right, March 7th, Atlanta Reign and Los Angeles Gladiators, Los Angeles Valiant, Philadelphia Fusion, Toronto Defiant, and Chengdu Hunters. March 8th, Paris Eternal and Vancouver Titans, New York Excelsior and San Francisco Shock, Dallas Fuel and Shanghai Dragons. Then we have March 9th. Los Angeles Valiant and Houston Outlaws, Seoul Dynasty and Washington Justice, Guangzhou Charge and Los Angeles Gladiators, Hangzhou Spark, and Toronto Defiant. Then we have March 10th, Paris Eternal and San Francisco Shock, London Spitfire and Shanghai Dragons, Florida Mayhem and Boston Uprising, and Vancouver Titans and Chengdu Hunters. Then for Week 5, there's only 2 days of games that week. Saturday, March 16th, Washington Justice and Paris Eternal. London Spitfire and Seoul Dynasty. I'm looking forward to that game. Boston Uprising and Dallas Fuel. Atlanta Reign, Chengdu Hunters. And then Sunday, March 17th, Philadelphia Fusion and Paris Eternal. Washington Justice and Florida Mayhem. Houston Outlaws and Atlanta Reign. Guangzhou Charge and Vancouver Titans. So there's a lot of things that are different. So you can actually pick by team and see when they're going to play. I like that. So my one thing that I got to say is I don't like the weeks that there's a team only playing once. I feel like that's kind of lame. I feel it's not that exciting. I liked it when it was 40 games, 2 teams a week. Obviously, they can't do that with 40 teams of 20, or they can't do it with 40 games of 20 teams. I get it, but I don't know, 1 game a week? That's a major yikes. And then we're going to look here. We'll go back to all teams real quick. All right, so Stage 1, Week 5 ends March 17th. Stage 2, Week 1 starts April 4th. So that's 2 weeks there. Or is that that's like 2.5 weeks? That's a long time. Obviously, the stage playoffs go for a week. So I guess it kind of balances out, but it just seems like a long time. The whole thing of having less games and players burn out or whatever, it's just... You're playing Overwatch, Chief. Come on. I get that it's high pressure and all that stuff, but you're playing a video game for... I just think I think it's so dumb that they'll have to like change the stuff and play less games because players are like getting burnt out. It's like you play 2 games a week, you practice a bunch of times. Come on, Chief. They're not changing the schedule for baseball because players are getting burnt out from playing. Like, it's the same thing. Baseballs are 162 games. Basketball, there's 82 games. Like, they're not cutting it down because the players are getting bored of playing. Come on, Chief. It's just so annoying. And the whole, like, thing with putting in the patch and waiting to put it in. Like, put it in right away. Don't give them time to practice. Nobody else has time to practice. They're supposed to be the best players. They should be able to adapt faster than anybody else can. When they're like, all right, we're putting this change in the comp the day it comes out, nobody's like, oh, let me practice for a month. Like, come on. You don't need a month to practice. Something like that. I just think it's dumb. Either way, when you click on a stage, also certain ones will say that they are in... they'll be hosted different places and they'll change it up. So, we're looking here, the Dallas weekend. Ultimate Weekend Dallas is not... Dallas is not my place to have an Ultimate Weekend. I'm sorry. Dallas is not that choice. So it tells you which weeks they are. And this will be week 4 of Stage 2 in Dallas that week. Paris Eternal and London Spitfire. Hangzhou Spark, Chengdu Hunters. Houston Outlaws and Seoul Dynasty. Los Angeles Valiant and Dallas Fuel will play April 27th. And then April 28th, Hangzhou Spark, Paris Eternal, Chengdu Hunters, London Spitfire, Seoul Dynasty, and Los Angeles Valiant. And then to wrap it up, of course, you got to have Dallas Fuel and Houston Outlaws. So that's interesting. That's the only games that will be played that week. No games will be played in Los Angeles that week. So I guess we're going to change it up in week 5. We'll have more games. Schedule's a whole mess, personally. Week 5 of Stage 3 will be home stand Atlanta. That one, you will see Florida Mayhem and New York Excelsior, Philadelphia Fusion, Washington Justice, Guangzhou Charge, Shanghai Dragons, and then Toronto Defiant and Atlanta Reign. That's July 6th, and then July 7th, Philadelphia Fusion, Shanghai Dragons, Washington Justice and Guangzhou Charge, New York Excelsior and Toronto Defiant, Florida Mayhem and Atlanta Reign. Again, those are the only games that week. So if you like a team that's not one of those, major yikes. No Seoul Dynasty playing that week. I'm sad. And then Stage 4, Week 5, the final one of the season, the final week. Which, again, Seoul Dynasty will not be playing that week. Major yikes. From my standpoint. August 24th and 25th will be played in Los Angeles, but it'll be playing at the Nevo by Microsoft at LA Live. That's the location they picked. That will have Atlanta Reign and Dallas Fuel, Boston Uprising and New York Excelsior, San Francisco Shock, Vancouver Titans, and of course, Los Angeles Gladiators and Los Angeles Valiant. And then we will see Atlanta Reign and Boston Uprising, New York Excelsior, Vancouver Titans, Hangzhou Spark, Shanghai Dragons, and San Francisco Shock and Los Angeles Valiant. So you get 2 good matchups in there, rivalry-wise, because you get Los Angeles Gladiators and Los Angeles Valiant. both LA teams, and then you get San Francisco Shock, Los Angeles Valiant, so you get both San Francisco and Los Angeles to play each other. That's the final game of the regular season, is San Francisco Shock and Los Angeles Valiant. That's all the way at the end of Stage 4, Week 5, all the way down in August. So that must mean that the playoffs happen in September, which that's going to be a major yikes. What are they going to do with the Overwatch World Cup? Is it going to be like players that aren't in the Overwatch League? Maybe it'll be like contenders teams will play. I don't know. Because if they have the Overwatch World Cup, because that stuff was happening in like August. I believe the Incheon stage was in August. Because I know a lot of them were September, but still, I guess they could just push it back because everything typically happened in like September and then nothing happened in October. So they could just do it in October, November, have it be a 2-month thing. Why not? I think that's a better idea. But either way, we'll find out what happens with the playoffs all the way in September. But for now, we're still looking at February 14th, the first matchup between Philadelphia Fusion and London Spitfire. I don't expect it to be any different than the championship game. The thing that's also a thing to remember is that wins are way more important this season than they could have even been last year. Because last year, teams got in the playoffs with about 20 wins. And that was 40 games, 20 wins. This season, there is only 28 games. So every game you play is way more important than it would have even been last year. So an early loss could hurt you all season. More than it would any other time. So you can't really have a major, like, if you have like a 3 or 4 game losing streak, it's really going to hurt you a lot more than it would have last season. But either way, this video has gone way too long. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next one.